Good evening. I'm Leland Vittert. Attorney General Merrick Garland called President Trump's hand, and we are less than 24 hours from a court-imposed deadline over the search warrant and evidence recovered from Mar-a-Lago during the raid. Garland spoke for 3 minutes this afternoon and said basically nothing, except that he approved the raid and the Justice Department wants the search warrant on President Trump's compound unsealed.
The department filed the motion to make public the warrant and receipt in light of the former president's public confirmation of the search, the surrounding circumstances, and the substantial public interest in this matter.
There you go. President Trump's legal team has till 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow to respond. They can either object to the release or agree the world should see what the government has in their search warrant and then what the FBI agents took from Mar-a-Lago. Bob Driscoll, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General, standing by. Tell us what happened in the Justice Department over the past 72 hours. Start with President Trump's attorney, Christina Bobb, who was at Mar-a-Lago during the raid. Christina, nice to see you. It's been a long time. Will the president and his team object to unsealing the search warrant and the evidence recovered?
It doesn't appear at this time like we would object, but the court has ordered the Department of Justice to coordinate with us and to work on, how that release would take place or what that would look like. Our team has responded. We have reached out to the Department of Justice to coordinate that and have not been able to make contact. So we're waiting to hear back from them, and we're very eager. I mean, we know that people want information, and we're eager to respond as best as possible in coordination with the Department of Justice. So we're just waiting to hear back from them.
Okay, well, you guys have a copy of the warrant, and you're given a receipt at the end of an FBI search warrant. Why wouldn't you just release that yourselves?
Well, this is part of the discussion with the Department of Justice. Of course, we're trying to do everything in accordance with the law and
there's absolutely nothing preventing you guys from releasing it, though.
Other than decorum, I mean, we're trying to work well with the Department of Justice. We've been cooperative this entire time, and we'd like to remain cooperative, and we have reached out to them and are waiting to hear back. So
you say you've been cooperating the whole time. The president said that as well on Truth Social.
Yeah.
Was there a subpoena given to you guys for materials before the FBI raid of Mar-a-Lago?
I understand that there was. It wasn't given to me. That was the Washington, D.C. team, or the Washington, D.C. legal team. But we did have the meeting at Mar-a-Lago in June that has been discussed about whether the FBI would be allowed to view the storage facility, whether they'd be allowed to see the documents. And we did that. I was part of the team that welcomed them to Mar-a-Lago with open arms. President Trump himself stopped by and said, whatever you want to see, let us know. We're happy to facilitate it. And we did everything we could to be cooperative, and after that, they actually said, we appreciate you showing us. We would like the storage facility to be a little more secure. Okay. Can you add a lock to it? So we did, and the next thing we know is they're raiding Mar-a-Lago. So it's a bit of a shock, but yes, we believe we have been as cooperative as we possibly can be.
Okay, I'm still interested in if you all feel as though that the search warrant and then perhaps what was taken would prove the point that President Trump has made and you all have made on television on numerous occasions, that this was prosecutorial misconduct. Right. Why would you believe the Justice Department is acting in good faith? Why not just hand it out?
Well, maybe it will come to that. I don't know, but we want to take it to its full conclusion, and we have to at least do what we can to work with them and to coordinate with them. And we feel at this point in time that before we do that, we would like to coordinate with them and continue the cooperation. And if they refuse to cooperate with us, maybe at that point we make that decision, but we're not there right now.
Fair enough. But there was the showdown, right? That there was a subpoena issued that obviously you all didn't comply with, because otherwise there wouldn't have been a raid if they had everything that
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say obviously we didn't comply with it. We are under the impression that we did comply with it. I'm not aware of them coming back to us saying you didn't turn everything over.
So you think you turned over everything that was in the subpoena?
That was, yes, that was our understanding. And if they believed that there was something that wasn't turned over, then by all means, tell us what it is.
Well, I guess they came and took it, so they didn't have to tell you. Or the evidence record said.
That's the point, right? They didn't continue the coordination. They went to the far extreme of raiding a president's personal residence.
No, and we've made that point for the past couple of days. This is unprecedented in every way.
Right.
If you were cooperating and they ended up raiding it, was there any part of this, or the calculus, President Trump's now the top of every newscast. His Republicans, even Trump-skeptical Republicans, have rallied around. We're seeing anger on the Republican side at the establishment and at Democrats and at Merrick Garland like we've never seen before. Is there any part of Trump world that is sort of happy privately that this happened because of what's happened to the president and how much support he's gotten because of it?
Absolutely not. I would never wish on anyone, let alone the president of the United States, to have their home so viciously invaded and their privacy invaded the way that it was. I don't wish it on anybody. The fact that it's coming back on the FBI and on the Department of Justice to show how corrupt and how overreaching they are, that I suppose could be a silver lining, but I wouldn't wish this on anyone. And if anything, I think it highlights how extreme the FBI has become. If they're doing this to Donald Trump, everybody says, oh, maybe they could do it to me. Well, now we can look back and say they probably were doing it to regular Americans. I mean, you don't start at the top of the food chain. You work your way up. So it leads me to believe that they've been abusing power for a long time, and we just never know.
We had a lawyer on for the folks who said that the FBI abused their power, and actually that's why one of their clients was acquitted in the Governor Whitmer case. Yesterday. Interesting. This from President Trump just a little while ago. Just learned that agents went through the First Lady's closet and rummaged through her clothing and personal items, surprisingly left the area a relative mess. Wow. That was on Thursday at 3 o'clock. Obviously, the raid was on Monday, so we're not sure about just learned. But there's videotapes, surveillance videotapes of the FBI agents there that you're indicating shows unprofessional behavior by the FBI. Why wouldn't you release that? I haven't. Wait, what did I allege? I haven't alleged anything. No. You all have alleged that the FBI raid was great unprofessional conduct by the FBI, correct?
Well, I'm not great misconduct. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but the CCTV was left on. But the only thing I can tell you, I wasn't watching the CCTV because I was left in the parking lot. I wasn't allowed to see what they were doing.
Right. So the CCTV would show it and show where they went and whether or not they just went into the storage unit or also searched all of the compound. Why wouldn't we?
They did.
Okay, so why wouldn't we see the CCTV footage?
Maybe they will. I'm not aware of that being a discussion at this point, but there's certainly, I mean, it's the president of the United States' personal residence. I don't know that he wants the contents of his personal, I mean, by showing the tape, you see the interior, you see a lot of things that are not otherwise known, and there's security issues with that. So that's not something that you flippantly release, although maybe that's a consideration. You're actually the first person that's asked me for it, but I guess that gives me dibs to get it first if you guys decide to release it. We'd love to have it here. You made a fairly consistent point, I should say, about the FBI and overreach. And it's something that's been echoed by a lot of the president's allies. Take a listen.
I wouldn't be surprised also if they planted bugs. I mean, they did bug the campaign.
This is the worst attack on this republic in modern history, period.
You do not live in a constitutional republic anymore. And anyone telling you that in the media is full of crap. You used our flag as toilet paper last night.
Anyone, quite frankly, who loves this country and believes in America, this should shake you to your core. What has happened today? This is a very clear demarcation in the history of America.
Does the president have the same or similar emotions?
Yeah, I think a lot of us do. I think a lot of us are shocked and appalled at the FBI's behavior, the Department of Justice's behavior, that they would go to such great lengths for something that seems unnecessary. And while I know it's not necessarily unusual to have the affidavit sealed at this point, it's very unclear why they did this. Why did they go to this extent? And I think that's what a lot of Americans are concerned about.
Clearly, it would be because it's one of two issues, right? Either A, they're choosing to do this just to embarrass you all, or B, because they felt as though you were being uncooperative.
I will remind you, we're just talking about presidential records, and President Trump has the authority and had the authority to declassify and declare any record a presidential record. That is solely his purview. He cannot be found inconsistent with any of these code sections because it is his
I just want to be clear. So before he left the White House, it's your all's position that he declassified all of the material that he had?
Anything that I can't speak on behalf of Donald Trump, but he has the sole authority.
Christina, you're his lawyer. That's why we're having you on to offer his perspective. And I'm wondering if
right.
if the
but
defense
I'm trying
is.
To explain. No, I'm trying to explain the law and how it applies to Donald Trump. The law, all he has to do as the president is make up his own mind that something is declassified, and it's declassified. There doesn't have to be a ceremony to declassify something.
But you had he actually has to declassify it and formally tell the establishment. And
he actually doesn't. Not to be held accountable. He doesn't. I do not see any way that they can indict him under these code sections. I do not believe he has any criminal liability under this. And I think
in other words, so what you're saying is that whatever the FBI, who I'm guessing has the same, is reading the same codes you are, you're saying that they must be alleging something more than this, because the Justice Department lawyers would conceivably have the same thought, and therefore, in order to get a search warrant and everything else, there would have to be something beyond just public presidential records, right?
I suppose there could be. I don't think there is anything there. This is why we're all shocked. I think there's nothing. There's no there there. And they haven't explained it to us. They haven't explained it to us, so we don't understand it. And that's the whole point. We're all looking at this, scratching our heads,
going, what did they say in the meeting back in June?
Doing? I'm sorry?
What did they say in the meeting back in June?
We showed them what they wanted to see, and we said, if there's anything else you need, or if you're looking for anything else, let us know. We're happy to accommodate. You're welcome to come back, or if you're. They never gave us specifics. They never said,
There's this report that there is an informant or some kind of confidential informant at Mar-a-Lago who told the FBI that you all were being less than candid and that there were additional records, and that's what prompted this search warrant.
I don't personally believe there is an informant. I've heard that story circulated. I don't know where it originated from, but I don't believe that it's accurate. I don't know who's lying, or if they're confused, or if they got misinformation. I don't know what it is, but having been in the circle, I don't actually believe that story.
Okay. The FBI Director Wray just put out, violence and threats against law enforcement, including the FBI, are dangerous, should be deeply concerning to all Americans. Obviously, there was the attack today on the FBI in Cincinnati.
Right.
Do you worry at all that the rhetoric about the FBI from the president, from some of his supporters, is inspiring the craziest among those to commit these kinds of acts and make these threats?
To be clear, violence is never appropriate under any circumstance, and I would encourage everybody to, if you want to protest, certainly do it peacefully and in a way that is peaceful and safe, and everyone can have their voices heard. It's never appropriate to threaten violence or to actually conduct violence. Now, to the extent that there's a lot of emotions stirred, I would actually blame the FBI themselves. I mean, it's not an isolated incident. This is not Trump saying, "Oh, the FBI is bad. Go hate the FBI." The FBI lied to the FISA court. They lied about Crossfire Hurricane. They lied about Hillary Clinton's emails. Yeah, they've lied about unmasking. They've lied across the board. So this is a series of things. So
all true points.
I don't believe we can blame this one incident.
No, all true points, and ones we brought up the past couple of days. Christina, last question. I just want to get you on this. Would you all support? You said you're going to support unsealing both the warrant and the receipt. Would you support unsealing the affidavit?
I would love to see the affidavit. And to be clear, we're waiting for the Department of Justice to coordinate with it. I didn't ask if you wanted to see it. I asked if you would unseal it. Well, I don't know. I can't say that until I know what's in it,
Fair
right?
enough.
And we haven't seen it. So I don't know. And we're waiting to coordinate with the Department of Justice to see what they want to do and what's appropriate under the circumstances.
All right. Fair enough. Christina, it's great to have you. Nice to see you again. As I said, we'll talk soon. All right?
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.